Good morning, everyone. My name is Courtney Kluge. I attend Emmanuel College, and I was lucky enough to be one of the 30 people selected for the 75th anniversary Kokoda commemoration trek last year. I'm very thankful to have been part of this reconciliation trek and for the many opportunities it provides. I could go on all day about how the trek was amazing and life-changing, but today I'd like to talk to you about how reconciliation was developed within the group during the trek. Reconciliation itself means the action of making one view or belief compatible with another. Compatibility is working together, building friendships side by side, and establishing equality. Therefore, there were equal numbers of Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal people within the group of 30, which included students, mentors, teachers and leaders. We built a very open environment where everyone was able to interact and build strong relationships. We learnt about each other's culture, and this was reciprocated by all within the group. It was very humbling to be on a mountainside in the tropical rain, talking with others about significant aspects of our lives and culture. We opened our hearts and minds to each other. We held yarning circles where we discussed issues, learning about others' perspectives and how to grow as individuals, as a group and as a society. I believe having an open environment leads to stronger relationships and a better understanding of other people. On the trek, this open environment meant no one was judged. And I personally know I learnt so much about Aboriginal culture, about traditions and history. I found this truly fascinating. It was amazing as we were all in a challenging situation where we knew what other people in the group were going through, and we all relied on each other for support. It honestly felt as if we'd known each other forever, and it enabled us to walk in each other's shoes as Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal people. We were able to understand the depth of this expression as we were considering the perspectives and lives of other trekkers. This was also true of walking in the shoes of our Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal soldiers who fought on the Kokoda Trek. As 2017 marked the 75th anniversary of the conflict in Kokoda, walking in their shoes meant we were able to commemorate another significant aspect of the trek, the service of these Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal servicemen and women. We all completed research on a soldier who fought in Papua New Guinea, and when we reached the specific place relevant to where they fought or died, we paused. And we reflected on their sacrifice. This action personalised the experience and altered our perspectives, as suddenly we heard about someone's story, their lives, their friends, and their losses. It felt as if you could almost see them fighting in the jungle as we walked across remnants of the war and reflected on the stories that we heard. Some trekkers researched Aboriginal soldiers' stories, which is not easy as little information was gathered or known about their service and sacrifice. People brought photographs of soldiers if available, which also brought the jungle and its pain to life, as we can now imagine their faces among the trees around us. We saw the weapons pits where the soldiers fought, and even the remains of a Japanese tunnel. Rustling artillery and weapons still exist on the hillsides. I personally researched my great-great-uncle who served in Kokoda. This added depth to the trek that I had not originally anticipated. We held commemoration services at Bumana War Cemetery in Port Moresby and at Brigade Hill and Isharava on the Kokoda Trek, with the Isharava Dawn service being played on the screen. It was definitely a significant part of the trek as we all stood together as one. We paid our respect to the sacrifice of those who fought for our country and honoured those who may have not been acknowledged otherwise. Standing at dawn in Isharava, we realised how traumatic their experience would have been. It's an eye-opening experience to go on Kokoda and see what conditions the soldiers had to face, but we cannot know all their hardships they had to endure. We didn't have to worry about rationing food, getting malaria or scrub typhus, being shot at, or if we were actually going to make it out alive. Therefore, commemorating the soldiers is so important, especially the Aboriginal soldiers who did not get recognised for their services. We can only imagine or expose ourselves to a slight extent of what these soldiers had to go through in order to defend our country. The Kokoda Trek enabled us, in our own ways, and as a reconciliation group, to commemorate the soldiers and further reconcile. I believe that it is important that their stories are shared and thus not lost over time, and that their significance and heroism is still reflected on in the future. This also applies to the Aboriginal culture, especially within Reconciliation Week, with the theme, "Don't keep history a mystery. Learn, share, grow." This is a further step in reconciliation. Thank you.